I'm Hannah Coles, and you were listening to the Confidence Catalyst Podcast, episode 93, Stop Trying to Be Who They Want You to Be.
Welcome to the Confidence Catalyst Podcast. This program is designed to help you learn how to stop doubting yourself and start living a more confident, faith-filled life. You were meant for more. Are you ready to experience how amazing confidence feels? If so, you're in the right place. Here's your host, professionally certified LDS life coach, Hannah Coles.
Hey, my friends, welcome back to another episode. I love that you guys hang out with me each week. It really is super fun when I'm in my office and I'm recording these. I can just see your beautiful, beautiful faces. And so I just want to say thank you. I love that you guys come and that we can connect. So this episode today, I wanted to bring this to you because it's been showing up quite often lately in my social circles and, of course, my work. And so I thought it'd be really helpful to just touch base on this again. We live in this world of humans and we're all trying to live a good life. But living in a world of humans can be tricky to navigate, especially since all humans talk. At least most humans talk, right? That's where all the drama is. We get caught up in their thoughts and their opinions. And because we're also human, we have a terrible tendency to make their words mean something about us. And it's not usually something good. So we think we need them to approve of us for us to feel accepted and valid. We think we want to, quote, please them by saying just the, quote, right thing or doing the right thing or buying them the right gift or, all the right things. And notice, we hold back in our conversations because we worry that they might not like that topic. That's not the right topic. That's not the right thing to talk about. Or they might not approve, and then what will they think of us if I say that, if I make that comment, if I use that reference? So we don't share all that we want to, or we reluctantly and timidly share, and then if they're not on as board as we'd hoped they'd be, we apologize and we chastise ourselves for such a dumb comment. Why did I say that, right? Listen, we spend way too much time way too much time wrapped in other people's heads instead of savoring or just even noticing what's going on in ours. And if you want to cultivate quiet confidence, we've got to change this narrative, my friends. Now, let me tell you, I get it. I used to be people pleaser numero uno. Like you want 500 bonnets made for the Pioneer table? On it. Oh, you want 500 cupcakes for the next church activity? Sure, no problem. Even to the point where I would interpret looks exchanged by people. And in my mind, I would think, they don't like me. Oh, I better not hang around here anymore, because they might be thinking these things of me. Or I'd miss things. I'd miss people. I'd miss places that I kind of really did want to go to because I believed that these other people, their opinions mattered more than my own. Now, I didn't really know that I believed that. It wasn't in my mind saying those things to myself because when we say them out loud, we're like, well, that does sound a little weird. I don't know if I really do that. But deep, deep down, it was just this operating system that I was running off of. Like I said, it wasn't at the forefront of my mind, but I definitely operated from that kind of stance. Even when everything in my being was screaming, no, 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 I don't want to go there. I don't want to do that. I don't want to talk about that. I just don't wanna. I did it anyway because protective primitive brain here, like Survival 101, says that you must be accepted by the group. So that's what I did. That's what I tried to do. And I hated it. And it was exhausting. And it did the opposite of what I hoped for. One of the reasons we people please is because we really want to please others. We want them to accept us, to like us. We want connection and validation. We want to know that we're good people, that we're worthy, that we're worthwhile. But when we people please, we get the opposite effect. We get a lot of brain drama, like, I wonder what they think of me, eek. We get disconnection because while you're trying to please them, you're leaving your brain unattended. You're disconnecting from the true source that will give you the feelings that you really need. We also get more insecurities because we're practicing and training our brain to look for and seek out validation, which leads to passive-aggressive behaviors and a whole lot of worry. This is a terrible place to be in. And not only that, the people you're trying to please can't actually like you, what you really want. They can't actually like you because they don't even know the real you. When you're always trying to be someone else, thinking their thoughts, doing things you wouldn't normally or naturally do, you're not being you. Connections cannot thrive or even survive on falsehoods. It's like it's made of pie crust. It's flaky, crumbly, and dry. Don't be a pie crust. You want to be a rock. You know what a rock is that a pie crust isn't? A rock is solid. Now, I'm not doing matter. Of course, a pie crust is solid too. It's not what I'm referring to. But a pie crust is flaky. It's crumbly. It's going to break. It doesn't have a sure foundation. However, a rock is. A rock is sure of itself. A rock can be placed right next to a blooming rose, and it's going to be okay with that. And again, I know. A rock is an inanimate object, but you get the analogy, right? Confidence starts, grows, and thrives within you. It doesn't come from others accepting you or even liking you. Confidence comes when you like you, when you accept you, when you take the time to really get to know yourself and embrace all of it, all the crazy, all the quirks, all the everything. And the more you spend time with the real you, with your real thoughts, with self-acceptance, the more solid you become, the less you need others to like you, the more you can just be you. And this is a really cool thing because amazing things happen when you do this. You attract more people that are your people. They love you just the way you are, all weirdness and all. You get more connection. You learn to validate yourself so you can also accept others just the way they are. You get your life back. A life of quiet, certain confidence, and that feels amazing. It doesn't mean you have to be quiet. I think, a lot of times we hear that in our brains like, but I'm not a quiet person. You don't have to be. What I'm referring to is quiet confidence, this certainty, this sure footing that you're not going to be tossed to and fro depending on what the circumstances are. Here's the truth, and listen closely. Turn up the volume. Stop what you're doing. People don't even see you like the you you're trying to be for them. They only see what they believe. Let me say that again. People don't even see the you you're trying to be for them. They can only see what they believe. Like, did you catch that? They don't and cannot see all the things that you're trying to do or be for them. You could stew and stew and stew about what you think they want from you, and they can't see any of it. They can and will only see what they choose to see. And a huge downside with this is that when you're engaging in their opinions, you inevitably sacrifice your own. We do things all the time we don't really want to, all in hopes that if we show up the way that we think they want us to, then we'll be accepted. We'll get that smile of approval, that pat on the back, that reference. We go to family gatherings even when we don't want to because we think that's what our parents want us to do. We think that if we don't go, then that makes you a bad son or a bad daughter. We go and serve even when our heart isn't in it because we think that's what a good Christian does. And others will see us and they will approve of us. We let other people talk about the things we don't agree with on occasion, even things like complaining or anything that you're not on board with. And we don't stop them often because we're more concerned about offending them. Like we don't want to offend them. So we're willing to be offended. We sacrifice our own comforts, our energy, and a portion of ourselves because if we don't, we make it mean that we're selfish, and that's not acceptable. But here's the thing that we never stop to think about. Are you being selfish? Is honoring your thoughts and your preferences selfish? Or is it honest? Is it kind? Is it loving? You can honor yourself and your energy by allowing yourself to be honest. You can strengthen the connection with others by inviting them to see you as your authentic self. You can stop sacrificing yourself by being open to a conversation. And you know what happens when you do that? You talk. You learn about yourself and you learn more about them. You build trust and connection, which is what we really want. Remember, others don't and can't see all the things you do or try to do or be, the things that you think they want you to be. They can't. We don't have access to their thoughts, so we can't even know what they really want. Now, I may have shared this before, but it's so fitting here, so I'm going to share this again. We had a family event once. It was years and years ago. I had little kids at the time, and I was a major paper pleaser. I was a major people pleaser at the time, and I wanted to show up doing all the right things so that they would approve of me, smile, accept all the things. And like I said, this wasn't at the forefront of my mind. What I really wanted was to feel good, to live a good life, to feel accepted and loved. And I thought that if I did all the right things and if they, smiled and approved, then I could give myself permission to feel good about myself. Again, all this was like subconscious because this was not at the front of my mind. At the front of my mind, it was I need to do all the right things. I need to show up the right way. So at the time, we used to share holidays with both sides of the family, and it made things really tricky, like timing-wise and food-wise and all the things. And like I said, we had little kids at the time too. So just getting out of the house was a chore in and of itself. So this particular holiday, I knew that we couldn't stay as long as I believed the host wanted us to stay. So in my people-pleasing mind, I came up with a brilliant plan that we would come early, and that way we would still be spending like the right amount of time, with them, and we could help in any way, and it just seemed like the perfect solution. So I ran myself ragged trying to make food for, this house and then food for that house, and then getting all the kids dressed and cute and put together for the gathering. And I even went as far as making a handmade, amazing, ridiculously time-consuming gift, to try and be as perfect as I could. So imagine my deep surprise and dismay when we arrived and I received daggers. The host wouldn't even so much as spout off a few words in my direction. They weren't excited about the gift or our presents. They talked to my husband and smiled at my kids, but not the one who was the movement behind the scenes to make it all work. That was what my thought was. I was like, why am I getting daggers? I'm the one that is exhausted trying to do all this stuff to please you, and you're happy with everyone else but me. And okay, I tell you what, this is pre-coaching days, and I was just a hot mess. I was so hurt and so deeply offended because I did everything I could think of to be what I thought they wanted me to be, and it wasn't enough. And it's not that it wasn't enough. It's it felt like it wasn't anything. It even seemed offensive to them even. Okay, fast forward, happy endings. I am a recovered people pleaser. I have no problem sharing my thoughts and being transparent now. I love showing up authentic. And the best part is that I feel kind. I feel loving and generous when they don't see me as maybe I hoped they would, because I can let them be wrong about me. It is such a beautiful feeling to love them and not need any reciprocation back like I needed all those years ago. I can even connect and love that younger me, that people pleaser, because she tried so hard to get what only she could give her, and she just didn't know that at the time. So, and if you catch the catch is that other people don't have to change at all. In fact, in my example, the hosts, I love them so much and I love who they are. But I honor and respect me as well. And when I allow myself to be seen, to be heard to me, when I listen to me, when I listen to my inner voice that sometimes says, no, this isn't going to work for me, and I honor that, I create inner connection and, best of all, quiet confidence. It builds trust within yourself. My youngest, he's so cute. He called me the dog whisperer the other day because he's like, all the dogs like you. And I love dogs. Yes, total dog person. And I'm sure it's because they feel safe. They know I'm not going to do anything crazy, or I'm not going to let any overly hyper child infringe on their personal space. So they can trust me. And because they trust me, they hang out with me. Okay, what would that feel like for you to establish that kind of trust within yourself? When you know that you're not going to let anything crazy happen to you, that you are a safe space, what would that feel like within you? This is the kind that when you don't want to do something, you listen to you. This isn't like a get out of everything always card. I know some people are worried about that. If you give yourself an inch, you're going to, take a mile. And that's not what it is. Or you'll argue that you don't want to do anything because, that isn't what I've seen or what I've experienced myself. The truth is that when you allow yourself to be heard and seen, when you establish trust within yourself, you're more likely and able to try new things, to want to serve, to give, because you trust that you won't ever do anything to harm you. When we understand why we're prone to people please, why we seek validation from others, and what we make it mean when we try to show up doing all the quote right things, We can get right to the root. We can fill our own needs ahead of time so that you can just love the humans. It's really hard to love the humans when you're treating them like judges or critics who hold your happiness in their hands. When we're in that mindset, we're not looking for connection. We're seeking permission. And it's not fun, and it doesn't promote healthy relationships. It creates insecurities. It creates needs, more like unfillable needs in that manner, because we do have needs. We do need to be seen. We do need to be heard. We do need to be valued and loved, but not from them and not in the way that your brain thinks we need it. You really need to give it to yourself, because all of those things are a feeling, and they come from the thoughts that you think about you. So stop trying to be who you think they want you to be, because they can't see it anyway. They're only ever going to be able to see you through the lens of their own perception and story. Remember, what they think isn't about you. I had an amazing session this week with one of my clients, and she said something in a way that I had never thought of before, so I have to share this brilliance with you. She said, everything is about connection. She said, when we show up authentic, we are inviting others to connect with us. But when they don't or they can't, it's then an invitation to us, to ourselves, to connect with them, to be curious about them, to lean into them. Isn't that brilliant? It is all about connection, but connecting first to your own authenticity, to your honest, genuine self, and then deciding to share that vulnerability with others as a way to deepen your connection. But if it's not there, then you can lean into them where they're at. And what happens is that you still deepen the connection. Connection is what we all want. It's one reason we people please in the first place, to connect, to belong, to be accepted. But we people please, and it creates unhealthy and unsustainable ways. So this way, this connection method allows you to be you, and it allows them to be them. And it doesn't matter what the circumstances are, because the results are always connection. It's so good, you guys, right? Okay, that's where I'm calling it today. Listen, I just have to tell you before I hop off, next month in the membership, which really means next week because July is next Thursday, the doors to the membership are opening, and I highly encourage you to dive in and join us. Let me just tell you, we are talking about living the good life, learning to have emotional energy to shine bright, to contribute, to share, just to be, to really savor and love your season. I am so excited to bring this class to you because it will hit home for each one of you. I promise you that. I also just started doing something super fun in the membership called What's Going On Wednesdays. You all know I love a good alliteration. And this is where I'm just available to connect and to chat, and where the group can come meet other members in a low-key, no-stress environment and meet other like-minded, incredible people, make new friends. So that's a new perk in the membership too, besides all the amazingness that's included. I'm kind of the queen of content, and by content, I mean like stuff, classes, worksheets, amazing, empowering thoughts, all kinds of that. And the membership is just a full smorgasbord of quiet confidence content. So come be a catalyst with me. It's amazing. The view from this side is incredible. All right, my friends, I will talk to you next week. Have a great time.
Thanks for listening to the Confidence Catalyst podcast. Check out the show notes for this episode at www.thecatalystcoaching.com. Please make sure to head over to iTunes to subscribe, rate, and review this podcast. Until next time, always remember, doubt not, fear not.